There is a vote taking place right now across Iowa. It encompasses nearly 500 union bargaining rights that represent public employees in the state. Legislation that was passed in the last legislative session not only took away public unions' rights to bargain for anything other than wages, but also requires the unions to be recertified. Pat Brink has more in this report.
For 40 years, teachers and other public employees had the right to bargain in good faith with their employers. But that right changed significantly earlier this year when Governor Terry Branstad signed into law a bill that stripped many of the rights public employee unions had had for 4 decades and also required the unions to be recertified.
You know, I've become more irritated as I've traveled the state this fall, because usually I'm traveling the state, talking to teachers, principals, looking to see what they're doing, and then I can take that back to my policy discussions and things like that. Instead, I am having discussions about how you vote, how you keep a voice. They're asking logistical questions instead of talking about what's important, which is their kids. So they're scared, and that does irritate me, yes.
To recertify the union, a simple majority of votes is not enough. In most cases, this is how an election works. 100 people may be eligible to vote, but only 60 show up to actually vote. Of that 60, 31 vote yes and 29 vote no, so that question passes. However, the legislature made the vote to recertify much more difficult. Using the same 100 voters, the same 60 people voting, and the same outcome of 31 to 29, the question would fail in this case because the 40 people who did not vote are all counted as no votes. So in this case, the results from the 60 who did vote would have had to have been 51 to 9 in favor. There's a 2-week window for voting from October 10th to October 24th. And according to the Des Moines Register, voting has been very heavy in the first 2 days, with more than 20,000 of an estimated 33,500 eligible voters having done so already. That's more than 61%. In September, 13 recertification votes took place and all 13 passed. But if a vote fails, that contract is gone.
The contract that they have right now would be null and void at the time. So whatever you have as far as your sick leave days, your prep time, things like that that are in your contract, if you were able to maintain some of those, would be no longer enforceable. Now, we believe that administrators would do the right things and employers would do the right thing, but there is no guarantee.
Employee groups affected by this law in Iowa include many more occupations than just teachers. It can include custodians and bus drivers, the police and sheriff's department, librarians and city workers. Anyone who is in a union that works for a public entity is impacted. Pat Brink, KYOU, Fox News.
Much of the video in this story was of Ottumwa High School and its teachers, but in this round of recertification voting, Ottumwa teachers are not included.